Good afternoon, Greece, and welcome to my presentation about SEO myths. First off, I will start by telling a little bit about myself. Then I will introduce my company and get to the main part of the presentation, which is to bust some SEO myths. As you can see, I also have Twitter. My company has Twitter. If you'd like to follow me, you can add me by those names. This is me. It's a really big picture of me. In fact, I don't think there was ever a picture that big of me on the screen. Who am I? I'm Theo van der Zee. I live in Holland. That's quite a big piece away from here, but I love being here. It's a nice country. I'm actually a trained psychologist, so Joomla is a bit off for me, but I like it there, and I think I do some great work. I've been in web design for about 10 years now, and SEO for about 3 years. This is my website. It's finishjoomla.com. What we do is we develop business templates for Joomla. We don't use extensive frameworks or extremely bloated templates. We try to keep things clean and focused on what you guys all do best, run your own businesses, so you don't have to worry about your template. Let us handle that. I'm so going to try my new laser thingy. That's our latest template. It's called Avori. It's a simple, clean, white template. And we like it, and our customers seem to like it as well. Enough about me. What you're here for are SEO myths. We're going to try to bust 6 of them. I'm not sure if we'll make it in time, but I think we do. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. Like that. We'll start at PageRank and work our way to the right via linking out, reciprocal links, suffixes, meta keywords, and keeping your page up to date. The slides will appear on SlideShare after, so you don't have to take notes. If there are any questions, try raising your hand and talk loud to me. I will try to answer it. Why is it important to do SEO for your web page anyway? I mean, people will come, right? What you will see on this screen is an eye tracking study. Eye trackers measure the movements of human eyes to specific parts on a screen. The red lines describe the so-called fault. A fault is where your screen ends and you can't look beyond without having to scroll your browser down. The red lines are different for every user because everybody has a different screen resolution that they use for their computer. As you can see in the top of your screen, the red pieces are the places where people look most. The colder the color, the less people actually look at it. I think that's where you want to be. That's place number 1. That's everybody's favorite place. But just looking at it won't get you any purchases. Then again, people are clicking on that first thing as well. As you can see on the screen behind me, the first place gets 3.5 times more clicks than the second place. Disregarding what the title tag is, disregarding the meta description, disregarding the search keyword, 3.5 times more than number 2. In fact, if you get past place number 10, only 10% of the people will ever see what you have to mention. If you're not on the first page, you're in the 10% league, and 9 out of 10 people will never know what you have to offer. This graph is actually not clear because of Google's extreme dominance. The red bar at the top is Google's market share in Greece. In fact, out of all the people using search on the internet, about 94% in Greece are using Google. That's why this presentation will be focused primarily on Google and not try to describe the fairly minuscule difference there often are between Google, Bing, Yahoo, Ask. The focus will be on Google. The first myth we'll be treating. PageRank is a highly important metric. I like this sheet. I think it's the best sheet in my deck. This sheet describes PageRank. PageRank is in fact a citation attribution model that's developed by Larry Page, the current CEO of Google, who tried to find out a way to rank the web. What they saw at Stanford University, Larry Page and his buddy, was that there was no good way of ranking all those millions and trillions of content pieces on the web. So they decided to write an algorithm that fixes this. What you see behind me is the explanation in one picture that actually describes really well how PageRank works. The yellow smiley, which, as my little sister pointed out, is way happier than the other smileys, has the most incoming links. The most hands are pointing at the yellow smiley. That's what makes it the biggest page and the highest page rank. The blue smiley has slightly less links from a lot of people, so it is still big. The red smileys, they are the most interesting ones, as they have quite some size, but only one incoming link each. But that incoming link is from an extremely large and trusted domain, as those domains linking to the red ones are in fact really big. This describes the model of trust. Google has more trust in pages that have more incoming links. So the pages they link to get trusted more on their behalf. Please raise your hands. Who actually knows what the page rank is of their homepage? That's quite a lot of hands. Once again, the hands. Who thinks there's actually a strong connection between what your page rank is and what your actual position in the search engines will be? Less hands. Maybe you're careful because you know what the next sheet will be. This sheet describes the correlation between what your page rank is and how high you actually will appear in the search engines. Correlation is a measure of connection. As zero correlation is a totally random event. It's like putting your iPhone on shuffle, you have no idea what the next song will be. Then again, a perfect correlation is something that will always happen. If I put my hand from underneath this presenter, it will fall. There's a 100% correlation, or a correlation of 1, that this thing will fall down. What this sheet displays is that the correlation between getting a higher page rank and in fact appearing higher on any search query is only 0.18. That's 18% of what it could maximum be. That's not a lot for a metric people are worrying about on a daily basis, it even seems. What's more? PageRank updates. PageRank is updated extremely infrequently. In fact, in 2008 it was updated 5 times, while in 2010 it was updated only once. If you're trying to track this metric, that's extremely difficult because you have no idea when the metric is in fact updated. You can't chart out your improvements, your new incoming links, your written content against what your next page rank will be, because you simply have no idea when the next point of measurement will be. More. Even if you had a page rank of 4 at the latest update you have data of, you acquired massive incoming links. You actually need a lot of new incoming links to get from page rank 4 to 5, but you got one link too few to actually match Google's threshold to get a page rank 5. It will still show up as 4. All your effort will not be marked by an increase in page rank, so you simply don't know whether that effort was useful or not. It could even be disuseful, and you could have moved from, for example, over here to over here, but that doesn't show either. What's more about PageRank is that it isn't actionable, as you can read on the sheet. That won't happen. They have more money than you have, so they will win. Why would you measure PageRank? Even if the PageRank goes up or down, it will have virtually no direct effect on your business. You might get some more clicks, which then again isn't a direct result of your increase in PageRank, as I showed on the sheet about the correlations. What should you be tracking? There are quite a lot of actionable, useful metrics that you could track instead of PageRank. I will try to explain each and every one of them, the one in more detail than the other. Number of customers, a pretty clear one. If you have more customers and you're selling the same item at the same price, you're earning more money. That's useful to know. The conversion rate, the so-called mother of all metrics. If the same number of people come on your website, but one day you're selling more than the other to the same amount of people, you have a higher conversion rate. That means your website is doing better what it's supposed at, converting people. This could be either selling more items, selling more expensive items, selling the items you want to sell. getting more newsletter signups, getting more people to read your content, getting more people to tweet about you, to follow you on Twitter. It doesn't really matter what your conversion is. If you increase it, your website is doing better at what it's designed at. Daily revenue per item. This is an interesting one. If your revenue per item is higher on a specific day than on another day, you could try to see if you can optimize that. You can play with those metrics. Rather than PageRank, which just go up or down, or in fact probably will even stay the same most of the updates, these are the things you can actually change. The fourth one, and I'll end the sheet with that one, inlinking root domains. I'm sure many of you will have links in footers of other websites, which make it seem like you have an enormous amount of inlinks, especially if you are linked on large corporate portal sites. That could actually mean you have 1 million incoming links from just one domain that's linking to you. For Google, it is way more important to know how many domains are linking to you rather than how many pages are linking to you. Otherwise, you could just game the system by buying or getting a single link under a really large website rather than getting a lot of webmasters to put a link towards your website. It's simply a less gameable system, which makes it more usable for Google. Even Google says it's not important. I'll try to read this one. Many site owners seem to think PageRank is the most important metric for them to track, which is simply not true, as spoken by Google employee Susan Moskwa. This is one of the most famous quotes actually made by a Google employee in public. She simply states it's not important. The green bar in your Google toolbar, or that's reported by websites, quit worrying about it. It's a nice metric, it's fun to track, you can actually blog about it. Oh look, I got 6 now. I suggest that's where you stop. Don't waste time trying to find out why your PageRank went up or down. In fact, try to track actionable metrics like the one I reported before.
About the links. There's also in this specific type of link is important. Like what is these incoming links as well, or is it just the domain?
What type of link are you referring to? That would be more important.
Take a link which is like a target blank screen or window or whatever. So you could say there are different types of links.
Yes, there are different types of links, but there are so many different types of links that I could actually do an entire presentation about the differences in links. I will actually get to linking at a later point. I think I will actually treat what you are referring to. As in regards to this sheet, PageRank is not an important metric. Fun to track, stop it there. Next myth, linking out to other websites is bad. This is our friend Matt Cutts. He is actually seen as pretty much the SEO guru in the SEO world. He is the head of web spam for Google, which pretty much means that he is head of the search quality team and setting up most of the guidelines, doing the PR for the Google search. What he is saying is that in the same way Google trusts sites less when they link to spammy sites or bad neighborhoods, part of our system encourages links to good sites. I will split this quote in 2 parts and treat them individually because they are both important to put down this myth. What you see here is a picture of Rio de Janeiro. I have great respect for the guy who actually made this photograph, as it is separated by a piece that's in the sun and in the shadow. And actually the piece in the shadow is supposedly a bad neighborhood, while the piece in the sun is a good neighborhood. It looks pretty much like a Telcel commercial. They used to do that too. The negative products are painted in black and white, while the good ones are in color. What this picture can describe is that if you are seen too much in this neighborhood, even though you are a good citizen, you pay your taxes, you have good friends, but you are seen too much in this neighborhood, how can somebody ever know if you belong in that neighborhood or just happen to be there? You want to be there. You want to be seen in the good neighborhood with good people doing good things. If you're too much in this neighborhood, people will start questioning. The same holds for linking. If you are linking out too much to websites that are perceived as bad, which is not a hard norm, it's just, if you look at it, you'll probably know whether a website is good or bad in Google's eyes. If it has 10 ad blocks, it's about Viagra, casinos, and boosting your SEO now, it's probably a bad website. It's It's pretty intuitive to see. This is what happened to actually an SEO guru who was at an SEO conference and he made a mistake. At this point, he got tons and tons of spam comments, ironically enough, about Viagra again. Those guys are really good at spam. At this point, the page got penalized by Google. Google put a penalty on the website that made sure it didn't rank as well as it used to do. Here he was at the conference. Here he got home. He was like, what? What happened to my search traffic? He looked it up. He found there thousands upon thousands of spam comments and thought, whoa, Google is not going to like this. He decided to remove the spam comments at this point and, well, traffic went up again. I know this is a case study, which is not really hard experimental evidence, but in my opinion, it really states well that you should be careful about spam comments or about any links on your website that you don't trust, where you don't want to link. But what if, you might ask, I have to link to this page, or somebody posts a comment on my blog and I can't keep track of all the comments. Behold, the so-called link condom. What you can do by using rel is nofollow is link out to a page you're not sure if you want to link to it. You can apply it to your forum, you can apply it to your blog posts. You could even use it on posts that people can blog on your blog, like a guest blog. You're not sure they will put links in it that you actually vouch for. And that's what Google wants to see. Links you're standing behind, which you vouch for, which you think are great links that people want to follow. As the anchor text, which I will tell more about later, states, no link value will be passed. Google will see this as a, oh, okay, that link we'll ignore. We won't attribute value to it, we won't let value flow from the first website to the second, because the webmaster is stating, I'm not sure about this link. This was partially busted. Linking to good websites is good, linking to bad websites is bad. I actually remember I forgot to state a piece on my first sheet. It's pretty logical why Google would value websites that link out to good websites higher. If you land on a website for a search query such as cinema lighting, and you didn't find what you were looking for. It was a nice website, it was informative, it had great pictures of the cinema lighting, but it didn't sell any, and you were looking to buy cinema light. What if that website had a link where you could actually buy that cinema light? That website would be way more valuable than the website where you could just read about the cinema lights without actually knowing where to buy them. It is in Google's best favor to actually have people finding via their search engine what they were looking for, because next time you will use their engine again. You will get back at Google, get a new look at their ads they are so making enormous amounts of money on, and that can only happen if you find what you're looking for via their search engine. If that's not the first result, then after a click, you will still attribute the search result in your head to Google. So, as I concluded earlier, linking out to good websites is good, linking out to bad websites is bad. Myth number 3. Trading links will increase your rankings. What you see here is a reciprocal link scheme. The first website links to the website on top, which links back. They normally place links in their footer. Some of you might have actually received emails at one point stating, oh, I want to do a link exchange with you. I propose to have this anchor text. Please put it on your site and I will maybe place a link back on my website to your website. In this example, it's done 3 times, all coming from website A. This would result in website A having already 3 links in their footer with other websites linking back to that. It's really easy for search engines to spot certain schemes. They can simply see in their linking index when they crawl all the websites, hey, website A links to B. Wait, website B links to A. That's probably not the best attribution of how links should work. We're not sure these are good links. Let's add some less value to it, just to be sure that this is not a real valid link, but it might have just been a link schedule, which in this case it obviously was. What's more is that normal, natural occurring reciprocal links are no problem. Especially if you're in a niche market, the chances are really big that you will link out to competitor B about a good article he's written, and competitor B will simply link back at some later point because you have written a good article. That's no problem, as long as it occurs in natural volumes and natural ways. If you have a footer containing 25 reciprocal links, it's probably a schedule, and Google is simply right by devaluating those links. You might think, hey, I can do that better if I just link to website B, B links to C, and C links back to A. Google will never know, right? Wrong. They will actually know, and they can simply use the same algorithms they use to use the two-way reciprocal links on these kind of links. I've actually seen this being used on the internet with 20-way circles, which were way too much work to put on this sheet. Even that is visible to search engines. They simply have all the data, and they can parse out that this is happening. You don't want to be here. What's more, natural occurring reciprocal links. Like I stated, no problem. What should you pay attention to? What parts of these links are important for you to keep in mind when somebody asks you, hey, shall we do a link exchange? Two are actually visible on the screen, so I'll start with the first, which isn't visible. What page are they going to put their link on? The usual request for a link exchange will state, please put the link on your home page. If possible, somewhere in the middle, with really large capital letters, linking back to me. That's from your home page. That page will most likely have the most value of your entire web page, as it's a natural occurrence that most people will link to your home page, which will make it the strongest page, the biggest yellow smiley on your website. They might just put it on a page that's 3 steps away from the home page, somewhere on /partners/digital partners. That actually has a page rank or a page value of close to 0. The links won't be fair. Your link will give them plus 10 points of whatever currency, and theirs will give just 0.1 points back. You will want to know at what page they are going to put their link in exchange for yours. The second one is shown here. What website are they going to put it on? Most people doing link exchanges actually have a large variety of websites. You will want to know for sure the domain they are putting it on is the domain that's actually where it's put on. You don't want to have a spammy website certainly linking back to you, even if you linked out to them first. The last one, marked in red, is the so-called anchor text. This is known as one of the most important elements in SEO. And this is exactly the reason why you don't want your links to say click here. Click here is in fact one of the most difficult keywords to rank on for Google by this effect. If you would write an article and say, please click here to download the white paper, where click here is the word you enter in your link, Google will think that white paper is about click here. Because the anchor text is one of the most key things Google uses to find out what a page is about. Especially because people are saying, hey, that's click here. If you would name it, this is your anchor text, you would rank a little bit higher for the search query, this is your anchor text. This works for both internal linking and external linking, where external links, of course, provide more value towards a keyword than internal links, as you have less control over it. A really interesting one. Google can actually deduct what physical part of the website a link is on. They can do this by large volumes and patterns. If there's a piece on your web page, as seen by your page source, that has an URL link structure in it, a basic web design structure. It has an item called home, it has an item called contact, and it has an item called about. That's very likely to be a menu. Then again, if there was another item, another piece in your source code, that has a large volume of text, it has a couple pictures in it, it has some links, it's perhaps in a division called content, and it ends with a call to action. That's very likely to be the content area of your website. By that same structure, Google can actually figure out by reading the patterns as found in your source code what part of a website is, a link is on. You want your links to your website to be in this area. Because this is the area where articles will be written in, where the components will be in, where everything that is high value on your website will most likely be in the middle. It won't be in the footer, it won't be in that sidebar, and it won't be in that sidebar either. You want, optimally, you want every link of every website that's ever linking to you to be in this part. So if you have a choice in, hey, where do you want the link to be on my page towards you, choose the middle. This one busted. That's a tough one. Yes, it might increase rankings. Yes, it might increase them in both short and long term. Once again, keep it natural. Don't go overboard. Don't go finding 45 reciprocal link partners on one day. Google will find out, and if they want penalize you, they will just simply devalue the links and they won't work as well as you want them to. Fourth myth, using a suffix will make your pages rank better. In fact, in Joomla, adding a suffix is just a simple click, which makes it something very many Joomla users actually do. A suffix is shown here. The part in red is the suffix of the website example.org. In this case, the suffix is .html, as shown on the sheet. Pretty much every 3 or 4 letter combination, even 2 letter combinations, 1 letter even, .h, can be used as a suffix, or an extension as it's called as well. This used to be the actual file format of a file. If a file was named .html, it was a non-dynamic HTML file containing source code for a website. If it was named .exe, it was an executable file that could be read by Windows and I think pretty much every other OS. If it was .pmp, it was an image. Right now, by using techniques such as mod rewrite, Apache rewrite, I think IIS has a tool for that too, I could name it anything. I could name my website in .tgo, as in Theo, and it would actually rank. Google would pick that up, Google would rank it, and there wouldn't be any problem. That rigs the system. There used to be a myth that .html and .htm were ranking better simply because they were static. They weren't changed as much, so they were probably better and stable. Right now I can name it anything. Or just as these guys are doing, not name it at all. The websites you see are actually pretty large websites. They are not small players on their market. Zappos is one of the largest shoe websites on the internet. Amazon you all know. Mozilla is from Firefox, and SEO Moz is one of the best SEO websites on the internet, which in fact probably powers about 25% of what this entire presentation is about. Neither of them has any suffix at all. Search engines therefore do not have a problem with websites without a suffix. They can read it. They don't think it's an empty directory, they won't skip the crawl, they simply will accept it if it has a suffix or it won't have a suffix. This is an easy one. This is not true. Google has stated that they can crawl any extension, they don't care. W3C, the web committee, has stated cool URIs do not have a suffix. I cannot make this one simpler. Do not click that button, keep the suffix away. Number 5. A regularly updated web page ranks higher. Probably not as a direct result of the fact that you are updating it. In fact, there are websites on the internet that haven't been updated in dozens of years. That's probably not true. In a lot of years, and they are ranking at the top of the search engine simply because they have valuable information, people are linking to them, and they are on a trusted domain. What you see behind me is a so-called long tail, short tail curve. I will have to look backwards a little to point pieces out. What the difference between the long tail and the short tail is that here on the top, this is a short tail keyword. It says shoes. It has simply very few characters, probably a very high volume that's not even on the sheet. It probably has a high volume of people looking for it, simply because it is so short and it's simple to look for it. But it has a low chance of conversion as shoes. You have to sell the exact shoe that a person is looking for without knowing what he's looking for. As shown by this example, which is in fact a long tail keyword, red Nike men's running shoes, if somebody landed on my website by that keyword and I happen to be selling red Nike men's running shoes, they're far more likely to buy my red Nike men's running shoes rather than somebody who types shoes. They could be looking for anything. Maybe you're looking for nice black dress shoes. They will never buy my Nike running shoes. What's more interesting is that the conversion I described, this one is very low risk. The chance of anybody else trying to rank high for Nike men's running shoes, red ones in fact, is far lower. most people are targeting the short tail keywords with their entire website by just optimizing it for either shoes or maybe even men's shoes, but they won't think about trying to optimize it for this keyword. If you are writing regular content, for example about Nike running shoes, and you would name a blog post, Red Nike men's running shoes sold out on Sunday, that page is far more likely to ever rank for Red Nike men's running shoes than if you don't create that content. That's probably why websites that are regularly updated tend to rank higher. They simply have a larger volume of long-tail keywords that they can rank for, rather than websites that don't update, therefore probably contain less pages, have less chance to jump in on new trends, or in fact new keywords, maybe even Red Nike running shoes 2011 edition. Somebody who doesn't update his website will never rank for the 2011 edition simply because it wasn't there when they wrote the piece in the first place. I actually have a nice time schedule. Is there anyone who would want to try to tell the rest of the audience how they are using long-tail keywords to optimize their own website? That's a low response. I expect more questions from you at the end. Is this one busted? I think this one simply isn't busted, but it isn't phrased right. Regular updated websites will probably rank higher for longer tail keywords. The actual updating, when not taken into account the actual links that will come from those updates, it won't result in higher rankings. It are those links and those long tail keywords that you can now target, which you couldn't target before, that will take care of the ranking higher. Myth number 6. Meta keyword tags will boost your rankings. There he is again, our SEO guru, Matt Cutts. Matt is stating, Google does not use keywords meta tag in our web search. This clarifies that the keywords meta tag is not something that you need to worry about, or at least not in Google. I don't think I can put this any clearer. Yet, I think about 80% of the websites, ranging from monsters such as Amazon or actual competitors of myself, such as Joomla, YoTeam, Shape5, they are stuffing those keywords tags. Why? They spend time on it, which they could have spent on something else, and it doesn't even provide value. Even still, it provides, wait, I was hoping for another sheet. That will come next. It will provide negative value for them, which I will explain after this sheet. This one is indicating that you do not, extra red, want to enter this. Just keep it blank. In fact, at JM Beyond, somebody in the audience mentioned that you might just want to enter one keyword, simply your main target keyword, one word, that prevents Joomla from updating this field when the database updates. It won't update it when the field is entered. I must say I haven't tested that myself, but if you run into this, you might want to know how to fix it. This is the meta description as shown in Google. The top part is your title tag. This title tag is the most important element in regarding to on-page SEO. If you do not put a keyword you are trying to rank for in your title, I would say it's extremely hard to get number 1 on that keyword if other people are trying to rank for it as well. In fact, research from SEOmos, which I referred to before, has shown that the more you put a keyword in front of your title, it will rank higher. By using the example shown here, the word Joomla would carry the most weight in this title, followed by the word business, followed by the word template, followed by our business name. If I were to turn this title around and put Finish Joomla in front, I would rank more for Finish Joomla, which is a waste because people looking for that would find my page anyway, and there's zero competition for that keyword. The next one, the meta description. This is what entered in this one, the one without the red X. It's not one-on-one. It's not like if you enter it there, it will appear as a snippet. It will most likely appear as your snippet. In fact, the sheet is not showing that, that's a pity. Sometimes you enter keywords that are exactly quoted on your website, such as, let's take an example, premium quality product. If that wasn't in my snippet, but it was exactly phrased like that on my website, Google is likely to take that phrase from my website and put it in the snippet they will show in the search engines. Furthermore, they will highlight the term I was looking for and show that in the search engines as a bolded phrase. You want to have your main keywords bolded when people are searching from them. It will simply light up more, it will get more attention, and it will more likely increase that people will click on your link. This was the sheet I was hoping for. These are the meta keywords of two of my competitors. I honestly don't know which two, because I looked it up a couple of months ago. This actually inspired me to target keywords I wasn't targeting before. If you want to spy on your competitors' keywords and you don't want to have to do the extensive link research, keyword research they probably did for it, just look in the source code. Press Ctrl U, Apple U, or whatever Internet Explorer is doing at the time, because they always don't use Ctrl U. And you can actually see what people are trying to target. It doesn't work, as Matt Katz has stated before, but they did enter it. So if I was looking for new keywords to target, I could actually look at this thing and see, hey, best Joomla template. Let's see if there's any search volume for that. Maybe I can write a blog post about it. Maybe I can create a category on my webpage that states only the most downloaded. I can optimize my titles for best Joomla templates. And people will actually come. While the competitor was trying to rank for it, they were actually giving me ideas how to rank for it better. I don't think that's a good move from them, but now you know you can steal their keywords, so it will be a good move for you. Is this one busted? I think this is the clearest one of all. This one is busted. Don't use it for yourself, but do use it from the other people. In summary, what did we learn? Stop obsessing about PageRank. It's a nice metric, you can look at it. The green bar, the fuller it is, the better it is. Joomla.org has in fact reached PageRank 10, which is the maximum a couple of months ago. I think that's really cool. But it wouldn't matter if they got 9. It wouldn't be devastating, it wouldn't ruin the traffic. It wouldn't change anything except for that number shown in the bar. Link out to quality websites, don't link to bad neighborhoods. We have to add a next bullet. If you have to link to bad neighborhoods, or if your site simply links to bad neighborhoods because people can post content on your website, make sure you use relative nofollow. It's a very simple attribute. I see a hand.
What is a quality website? It means it has a lot of visitors, has good content.
Sorry?
How do you measure the quality of a good website?
No,
It has to do with the visitors or the good content?
the quality of a website, the person asked, how is it measured? The quality of a website is largely measured by incoming links, by what websites are linking to it, and the third one in my head. It's supposedly, as Google states, it's not measured by any metrics. So time on site or the amount of pages, these are not influential on how big the quality of a website is. It's mainly the incoming links, from where they are coming, how many there are, and from what pages they are coming, and the quality of the content on your website. Is this a good article, or is this 5 rules of text surrounded by 6 AdSense ads that are trying to catch your attention?
So it has to do with the visitors, the source code to be clean, and to have links linking to these pages, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The next one, handle reciprocal links with care. A moderate amount of reciprocal links is no problem. In fact, it will probably increase your rankings, but don't overdo it. Don't make a scheme out of it. Don't try to build link cycles with 12 other websites where you would have to fill your footer with links to all kinds of websites you don't want to link to. Just keep it moderate, keep it normal, keep it natural. Google likes natural. If you're trying to optimize something, especially for Google, and it will actually harm the quality of your website in terms of content or in terms of quality, I wouldn't do it. Try to put the customer first, or the visitor in most cases, and Google next. In 9 out of 10 cases, you can actually, as the Dutch would say it, kill 2 birds with 1 stone by just following the best practices that Google has stated or what feels good. Getting a link cycle is not what feels good. Don't use a suffix in your URL. I explained this one in depth. It doesn't work. Add new quality on a regular basis. As it's often stated, content is king. If you don't have good content, people will unlikely link to your website. That doesn't mean that if you don't have good content, people will never link. But the more quality content you have, the more likely people will find it and will link to it once they find it via the search engines, via referral links, or via any other method. Last but not least, stop entering meta keywords yourself and start using them as a research tool by looking at other people's source codes and simply steal your keywords. I don't think that's a crime, it's their fault that they're entering them in the first place. Any questions?
You just said that don't use keywords, start using them as a research tool. When I'm going to search for another company, that means that I search the company that comes first to Google results, using the same keywords.
Mm-hmm.
Those keywords didn't harm this site to become the first result.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it a little opposite to the conclusion no keywords are needed?
What the question was that if a person searches for a certain keyword and that page will actually rank high enough for us to check the source code, I mean there are our competitors, we should look at them. Shouldn't those pages be lower because they entered their meta keywords, right? People aren't being punished for including them, but they aren't improving their ranks either. It's a neutral signal. It doesn't lower your rankings, but it doesn't raise them either.
So
And
we can say it's not something do not do list. You must not have keywords, but okay, it's not necessary.
exactly as you stated. Yeah.
What is the policy of the meta keywords for the other search engines?
The question was, what is the policy for other engines regarding the meta keywords tag? These days, Bing search is powered by the Yahoo engine, strangely enough. So Bing and Yahoo are one. Google is the other big player, and as stated in one of my first sheets, those two together have an enormous market share, and the other guys simply don't count. Bing and Yahoo have stated that they have a marginal signal weight from the meta keywords, most likely not in ranking, but more likely in categorizing. So if instead of entering your meta keywords meticulously on every page, you would acquire one decent backlink instead, that would increase your value more for that keyword than ever entering those keywords.
Does Google AdWords affect what is the
Organic?
let's say the page rank of a web page? If we have many incoming links for the specific keyword, let's say we have a Google AdWords campaign, and ad that comes up when we search the term JoomlaDay, and we don't mention anywhere in our page the word JoomlaDay. Does it help in a possible search JoomlaDay?
The question was, does PPC ads, as in AdWords click ads, matter for your organic SEO? Simple answer, as officially stated by Google, no. The paid ads and the organic ads are, at least in the official statement, fully separated and have no influence on each other. So if you would have a Google ad stating JoomlaDay, that would be wouldn't affect your organic rankings in the other listing, the free listing, at all. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I have a slight minor question similar to that. Does it add more links to our page? Because
No, it doesn't.
many websites have AdSense, for example, and they
That-
have links to our page.
AdSense ads are no followed by Google. So they have this link column where it doesn't add any value to your website.
Hello, I wanted to ask, do tags function like meta tags, meaning what? In the K2 component, we have the ability to add in each item tags.
Mm-hmm.
Do they count as meta tags or are they good links?
Photos is standing next to you. Are those tags entered as keywords in the source, meta keywords? but they are entered as normal code as well, right? They do show up on the website as actual physical HTML links. Okay, in that case, yes, they help because they show up as tags and you can optimize your website for those tags. You will likely rank for a tag such as summer vacations when it has an actual tag which lists content that's linked to the tag summer vacations. But the fact that it's inserted in the meta keywords does not improve your rankings. So yes, the tags are different than just standard meta keywords.
Can Google measure also the quality of a link? For example, can it measure if a link is an ad or is a normal link, apart from its position in a page?
What do you mean by a normal link?
Let's say a banner in a web page which is in a very good position. Does it link the same as just a post to a forum? As a quality for Google?
What Google has stated, there are very many factors that influence a link, such as the position, the anchor text, and important one, if you link using a banner, your anchor text be the alt text. If you link using a normal text link, such as, I'm sure I have one somewhere. Wait, that won't work. If you use a normal href text link, that will work better than using it as a banner, because it's a more pure text link and a more pure link to Google.
You cannot realize it is
I will find the sheet.
position only for ads.
This one. This link is worth more than if you put a banner in between using a IMG tag. A lot of hands.
Title tag or alt tag. Title tag or alt tag at images is important for SEO.
Alternative text or alt text.
Alt text images when linked.
Yes, the alt tags are in fact one of the most surprising results out of the SEO Moz research they did 2 years ago. If you have a website and it lists an image of a Nike running shoe and your alt text of that image is in fact Nike running shoes, you are more likely to rank for that page than if your alt text was not Nike running shoes. Image alt tags are a signal to search engines for
Okay.
last question. Pick one.
We have time for
Oh, no, move on. I'll be more than likely to answer.
How does Google know where the link is? Footer, header, content? Does it read the semantic markup or does it check the CSS?
In fact, it checks neither one. The semantic markup isn't at the moment used as a ranking signal, or at least it's not known that it's a ranking signal. And the CSS probably is parsed by Google to check if a link is display none or is text indented minus 3000 pixels to the left. Instead it uses the structure of the source code, which might be what you mean with a semantic source code. As I described, a menu is usually characterized by an lead tag with a lot of items in it, which has an item called home, contact. Google will simply deduct that it's your menu. They don't have to look at the actual visual position on the website to know that. They studied patterns and found out that if something appears to be a menu, then it will probably be a menu.
So I could have a list for my topics, which is in the header, and I could have a list for my copyrights policy, which is at the footer, but because the first list is at the top, it ranks higher.
But your first list contained an item called home and one called contact, and the one at the footer listed an item called privacy policy and disclaimer. So that's more likely to be an item in the footer than one in your header menu, without actually knowing what position that would have on your website.
I see, thanks.
Yeah, sorry. You're next.
Hi. In your opinion, what is the effect, if any, of Alexa ranking
in relation with Google and all that. I mean, it can be useful maybe for selling advertising if the person who's willing to advertise on your site takes into consideration. But beyond that, I mean, is there an effect on interplay? Thank you.
It was researched by SEO in the past, and what they stated was that there was fully random connection. Sometimes it appeared to have any influence, but most of the times it was just data they tried to assemble based on a very small sample of people actually running the Alexa bar. It's totally unreliable if there's any connection at all. The guy in the Joomla shirt.
The heading tags. The tags H2, H3, etc. And using this kind of structure, creating an article, will that cause some extra bonus to this article, or it's doesn't take any?
Well, it will boost the article in terms of user value, even disregarding any result it would do for the search engines, people using screen readers, visually impaired people, normal people with good eyesight who can view the website will actually see the structure of your article, what are the main points, what are smaller points, and what are yet even smaller points. In regards to the search engine themselves, the header tags used to be an important signal, but they were pretty easily to gain, because you could style an H1 tag, put them in your footer, and simply give it a font size of -3M. That would be an H1 tag, so Google would think, hey, H1, that's important, but you were actually stating it as a small footer link. It was too easy to gain, so yes, it is an important-ish signal, but it's losing value quick.
Hi. Does the naming of the files, of images, for example, boosts the site when you're searching for Google Images?
In Google Images, yes.
Yes, so the name of the image must be something relative to the content, not EMG1 JPEG.
This actually is a tough one. I personally wouldn't advise to super optimize all the images names, because it would simply seem like over-optimization. If you could actually enter keywords in your image names and stuff, I wouldn't do it. But if it was a natural process, and you actually had a file called redbird.jpg, I wouldn't rename it to some kind of MD5 hash code that would stay the same. Especially for Google Images, which you mentioned, it is better to have a descriptive name rather than some auto-generated name or an ID.
Yeah. We have little time, so if you want to be quick,
one question about social networks. You didn't mention social networks and links coming back from Twitter or Facebook. And another question is about Blogspot. Blogs under Blogspot. If they're improving position to Google.
The last question has a very short answer. Yes, they will improve because it's a domain that's linking to you. But if every single blog on Blogspot linked to you via a different subdomain, that would count as a different link each. Subdomains are ranked normally as different domains rather than all the same. And the first question is a really difficult one, and I could give an entire presentation about that one. Social media is important, you do want to rank there, and it seems in the latest research, Twitter and Facebook mentions are way improving in value and actually becoming an important thing to improve your SEO.
You can ask Theo later at the break, okay? Very, very last question.
Okay. Is it true that we do not have to repeat a keyword in a page since it was mentioned in a parent page? And something else, if we want to add keywords to a page, what is the best place to place them? Because you mentioned something about the meta tags. If we place them there, will there be crawled and count?
That's a difficult question which I can answer shortly and would love to answer more at the break. You would have to pretty much put them everywhere, but keep it natural. Put it once in your title tag, once in an image alt, once in... That would be cheating. That would be cheating. Why would you enter that keywords for that page without being the page about that subject? That like synonyms.
Yes, something like synonyms.
You could put them in like tag clouds, you could use them as anchor text to link to that page, you could, as long as they appear on the website. Putting them in the meta keywords tag simply doesn't work anymore. That was a tactic that was gamed in the past. They would have to appear actually physically on the website. It doesn't really matter in what kind of font, but they would have to be there. Otherwise, Google simply can't determine if the page is about that or you would like it to be about that.
So let's thank Theo.